Welcome back, fellow milk drinkers, to yet another Monday Milk Review. My name is Jacob, and today we're going to be looking again at a Norco natural flavored milk. Now, this flavored milk I've actually once tried to review before. However, it seems to go out of date really quickly, and it's quite hard to find. In fact, both times I've acquired this milk, it's been in New South Wales. My mother was in New South Wales, and she managed to pick one up for me. I know that these used to be widely available in Queensland, but I just haven't seen them in years, and I'm not sure where they went. My mum really likes this flavor, so it is a bit of a shame to see them harder to acquire. This flavor itself is, I believe, a malt, honey, and chocolate. I may have got the order wrong, doesn't really matter, and some of you may find relief in knowing that there is no added artificial flavors to this flavored milk. Let's give it a good shake. And now that the flavoring is settled off the bottom, let's pop it open and give it a sniff. I'm gonna be honest, there is very little odor from this drink. It's there, but it's definitely not screaming at you, yelling, "Here I am!" It's just kinda hanging out. I can get a hint of the malt, that's about it. Maybe a really faint chocolate, but I don't smell any honey. Honey doesn't really have much of a smell anyway. But of the more typically strong flavors, I'm not getting much. Let's pour it in. And as you may be able to see, it's a very light brown color. I'd probably call it closer to cream than anything else. There was definitely quite a bit of body to this being poured in. It didn't look like it was uncomfortably thick, by no means. Let's give it a smell. Oh, that's a bit funny. I would say that it's actually intensified in the malt odor than it was in the bottle. Nearly every time you see the exact opposite. Things once out of the carton or bottle in this instance, feels like it's been ages since I did anything in a bottle. I want to add, it's actually really nice to get back to a regular bottle. I kind of miss this. All of these weird cartons and cans, they're weighing on me mentally. I kind of lost my train of thought there. What I was trying to say is that you often see a small negation in the flavors once it transfers to the glass. The glass itself seems to balance it out, and I think that's because a lot of the flavors get trapped within the bottle and they intensify in there. And then once it's out in the glass, they aerate more, so it becomes a bit weaker. The exact reason as to why this got stronger? No clue, but let's taste it. Wow. Okay, very first thing that I noticed is that malt flavor is very upfront about its presence. The honey is definitely in there too, very subtle hints. The chocolate itself, I can't pick apart and separate. I don't think I can really notice it in there by itself. However, an amalgamation of all the flavors, I think I can detect the undertone. It's definitely not very forward about it being there. It's definitely something acting in the shadows. The malt and honey are really on display for this drink. So whilst it is flavored with chocolate, I would actually primarily call this a malt drink. The thickness is definitely a very enjoyable amount. It's not too thick, not too thin. Hold on, it's not thin at all. It's a very good level of what you would expect from a high class flavored milk, but it's definitely not too thick that you're gonna find yourself being a little bit overwhelmed when trying to drink it. It's a great thirst quencher, and I would deem some drinks not appropriate as thirst quenching because they're just too thick. Coach House Dairy is one that springs to mind. This drink feels really nostalgic to me as well. I know I would have had this drink before when I was a child, probably over 10 years ago now, if not more, and it's nice. It's a really good flavored milk. It's hard to find, but if you can find it, I would definitely recommend giving it a go. Some people may or may not care about the artificial flavoring, whether it's there or not. I particularly don't really care. Sorry, Norco, I'm just not your customer for that kind of thing. Overall though, this is a really enjoyable drink. I think I'm going to give this one an 8. No, let's settle on a 9.5 out of 10. It's a fantastic drink. I'd recommend anyone try it if they have the ability to. Of course, absolutely no issues finishing that whatsoever. That's definitely a drink that you can drink really happily in one sitting. The serving size is not too big. Amber, stop. This little rat bag keeps pushing the camera as well as the lights. Hey? Hey? You're mad because you got caught being naughty. Hey? But that about wraps us up for this week's episode of the Monday Milk Review. Thank you very much for joining me this week. Be sure to like the video if you've enjoyed it, and why don't you even subscribe so you can keep up to date with all of the weird flavors that we try here. This has been Jacob, and I'll see you next week in the Monday Milk Review. Bye bye!